Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I shall be teaching you on how to cut short Ankara gown. The amount of fabric required to sew this particular gown is about 2 inches, 2 yard if you're making a short sleeve, then 2.5 yard if it's going to be a long sleeve. The measurement required are your shoulder length, your bust circumference, your waist circumference, your bust circumference, your hip circumference, and the dress length. For the vertical measurement, you shall be needing your shoulder line, your shoulder from your shoulder to your bust line, from your shoulder to your under bust, from your shoulder to your hip line, and from the shoulder to the total dress length. That's the hem line. The first line we drew here now is our shoulder line. That's the first line that we are first of all we have to make sure the paper is on fold. Then the next thing we are going to do is draw our shoulder line. From our shoulder line, then we are going to take from our shoulder to our from the shoulder to the bust line, which is 10 inches, from the shoulder to the under bust line, which is 13 inches, from the shoulder to the waistline, which is 17 inches, from the shoulder to the hip line, which is 25 inches, and from the shoulder to the hemline, which is 40 inches. We're doing that in the same, just shifting the ruler a bit so that we can have a very straight line. So we are going to bring out all the old vertical lines. Now that we've gotten all the vertical lines, we shall be labeling it. After we have labeled it, the next line we shall be doing now is, we've gotten all the vertical line, and then we label it. Then the next line we shall be doing is that we shall be calculating for our chest line. You know that the bust measurement is not going to be on the bust line. It's going to be on the chest line. So the chest measurement, for you to get the chest line, what you're going to do is you're going to divide the bust by 4. That's your chest line. So what our chest measurement is 36. When we divide by 4, we get 9. Then by from 9 minus 1, we get 8. So now we are going to take our chest line to be, our chest line is going to be 8 inches. That means it's going to be 2 inches away from the bust line. So we are going to make that particular line now. We are going to draw that line out. Then from there, after we've done the chest line, the next thing we shall be doing is we'll start inputting all our horizontal measurements. In all our horizontal measurement, we shall start we shall start from the shoulder. Our shoulder measurement is 16 inches. Then we take half of this, we divide it into 2, we get 8 inches. We mark it at 8 inches. Then we also come down to the chest line. We mark that same inches from the center front line. We mark the same 6 inches from 8 inches from the center front line. Then use your ruler to join the vertical lines together as shown in the video. Then after what you've done now, the next thing you're supposed to do is to put your neck width. Our neck width is 3 inches, and then our neck depth is 3.5 inches. We are going to be ruling a straight line on both the neck width and the neck depth, so that the lines will be perpendicular to each other. So then what we are going to do is that for the benefit of those people that does not have cuff rule, you might not use cuff rule. Just go in, take half measurement of it. Then from that half, you will now curve it as seen in the video. So it's still the same thing using your curve rule. Now we've gotten the neck, because this is the front. The front neck is usually deeper than the back neck. So the next thing we are going to do is go get the armhole, get the shoulder slope. The shoulder slope we're using here is 1.5 inches. So we mark it on that armhole line. Then we take your shoulder slope. Next, we are going to do is to impute our bust measurement. Our bust was 36. So divide by 4 is 9. So we put that. Then the sewing allowance, the allowance we are going to be putting is the ease allowance is 1.5. Next, we are going to put the armhole. Take the armhole line, divide it, get the midpoint, and go in by 3/4 inch. Use your ruler to get that straight line. Then use your curve rule. Then you are going to be stopping at the 9 inches on the bust line, not at the extension. You later, after you've gotten the 9 inches, the you stop at the 9 inches using your curve rule. So from there, the next thing we shall be doing after getting your armhole is you will not come to you are not going to use when you are making gown, you are not going to be using your waist measurement. Your waist measurement, you are going to be putting them under your bust. Our waist measurement was 30, so our bust line now, then divide by 4 is 7.5. We are going to be adding 1.5 for allowances, so we mark that point. Now we go to the hip. The hip is 40. We mark that 40. That 40 divided by 4 is 10. We mark 10 and extend it by 1.5 inches. So that is 40. That's 11 and a half. Then we now connect all this line together. So what we did here is that we just connect it to this time. Then we now go to the hem, because the hem now, it all depends on how you want it to be open. But in this case, in this very short gown, we are going to be using our this thing, hip measurement. We insert that same hip measurement that we inserted. We use the hip measurement. That's 40 divided by 4 plus 1.5 inch. So this is it. This is your gown. This is your front. This is your front panel. The next thing you should do is cut it out, and you've gotten your front panel. This if you're making gown, it's as simple as this. So from here, we shall cut it out. Before we cut it out, we forgot to put hem. We put hemming allowance, which is 1.5 inches. Then also I decided to add. Don't forget to always add your sewing allowance. We added sewing allowance of 0.5 inch. That is a half an inch. Then we cut it out. So this is our front pattern. For we to get our back pattern, what we are going to do on our back pattern is to directly lay this particular pattern. Just lay this pattern on. Okay, before then, we should measure 1 inch from the center back line. We are going to, with this 1 inch is going to represent the zipper allowance. If we've measured that 1 inch, we are going to measure it. If we've measured that 1 inch, then we now paste the front. We'll paste the front pattern on this back. These are piece or your fabric. This is what you're going to do. Just paste it there, trace it out, and cut it out. So also remember that at the neckline, the neck depth is not going to be the same thing. The back neck depth is in this illustration, we shall be making it 1.5 inches deep. So look at the method we are using here. So we are taking from the tip of the neck, we are taking 1.5 inch. So we are going to be connecting it this way using your curve rule. So you get your back pattern. So you see, for you to make your simple Ankara dress is as simple as this. It does not take time. But also remember that if you don't want to put zip, you make the neck wider. So this is the end of the video. If you have any comment, kindly make your comment on the comment section. If there's anything you want us to improve at, you can let us know. Then as well, please, if you have not subscribed, kindly subscribe to support our channel. Thank you very much.